Welcome back to Sunrise. Today we've got Dr. Dele, who is a political scientist. That's Political Science Department, University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, we see that meeting with the Minister of Labour, the federal government, ended in deadlock. Well, we're trying to reach the minister to get across to him to see if we could also be on the program, but we haven't gotten any response as of yet. But speaking about this meeting that was deadlocked, there are many who just wonder this time, did you see this coming in terms of having a meeting and not making any headway, owing to how government thought, okay, well, we thought we made a mistake. Let's go ahead and sort this out now.
Yes, we saw it coming actually, because this has been the trend. This has been the pattern. And it is so because there's a conscious, deliberate, and wicked attempt to destroy public tertiary education in Nigeria.
Do you have any evidence to that?
Oh, this is one of the evidence.
How can this translate into an evidence?
You signed an agreement in 2009. Since 2009 till date, there has been series of agitations, including a 6-month strike in 2012, which culminated in a memorandum of understanding signed in 2013. Last year, November, there was a 1-week warning strike. If it is not a deliberate attempt to destroy public education in Nigeria, I don't think government will wait until we resume another strike before doing what they are doing now. So it's a calculated attempt.
But do you think there's a sincerity of purpose to try to resolve these issues?
Well, only the minister can answer that. But if what we know is anything to go by, this is the same strategy that was used in 2013 until we had that infamous 17-hour meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan. And you recall the very unpatriotic utterances of the Minister of State for Education and several other government functionaries who intervened in the strike at that time. So we are back to the familiar terrain. And that's why you can listen to the president of ASUU told you that they have made offers, they will always make offers. But our demands are clear. The demand is that government must be alive to its responsibility of funding public education as a public good.
Okay. Well,
this calculated attempt is also to destroy the last fabric that is tertiary education in Nigeria. Gradually, there are no longer efficient and effective public primary schools in Nigeria, for which majority of them were products deliberately. Post-primary education, secondary, has also been destroyed because the elites in Nigeria can no longer send their children to public secondary school. Now, if not for the struggle of ASUU to ensure that public tertiary education is still functioning the way it is, all of these attempts by government is also to destroy that last tertiary education system in Nigeria. They cannot but want to do that.
What would you say to those who say that, well, at the moment, ASUU, from all intents and purposes, has lost that monopoly to provide manpower, because you also have private institutions that have come up now, and so they need to change their tactics.
Exactly, that's where I am going. Private institution. Which private institution? The argument I was building was that the conscious effort to destroy public education is to begin to make that sector a profit and exploiting spinning machinery.
How? By paying for quality education?
Which quality education? Provided by private universities?
Would you prefer to go ignorance?
No, certainly not. The agitation of ASUU is to make sure that education is accessible to all Nigerians irrespective of class.
Is that ever possible?
It is possible.
Is that not being utopian?
It is not utopian. In the Netherlands, in Finland, in Germany. Today in Germany, go to the net. They are asking people to come to Germany to study free. No nation can rise above the level of its educational sector. And if you look at Nigeria, the reason why there's this onslaught on public universities is because those who own the private universities are who? They are those who had promised us several years back that they are going to make sure that we don't get access to education.
How many percent?
So that we don't challenge their hegemony.
But that's not exactly, because many will tell you, no, that's not exactly the case, because we don't know what stats, that can be predicated upon. But if we come back to this negotiation with federal government and ASUU, some of the information out there is that the government insisted that there must be an audit, a forensic audit of the initial 30 billion naira earned allowances paid to ASUU before the balance of 23 billion could be released.
Thank you very much. In fact, that's a question that I expect that you will ask. This man you call the Minister of Labour and Unproductivity.
With due respect to him.
I hope
with due respect, it's not. Because if you say you are a minister of the Federal Republic and you are a minister of labor and you don't understand the issues in the labor industry, then it calls to question your competence in that office.
What's the misunderstanding?
Please,
that is why he's appointed.
Please,
he went through the normal Senate screening and became a minister. But let me pick you up on this.
Please,
just
let me make this point.
Okay.
Let me please make this point. Where on earth is money given to ASUU? The 30 billion in question was given to universities through the governing councils to be administered by vice chancellors. So if you want to do a forensic audit, how does that concern ASUU? Go into the relevant books, ask the relevant questions, especially those you gave money to. There has never been a time, and I say that without any fear of contradistinction, that federal government gave ASUU a dime, even though funds were released to administrators in the university. ASUU, we are a trade union. We don't administer funds.